Hello, welcome to CRPS Contender, my complex regional pain syndrome education channel. Today's video is nervous system repair, tips and tricks, physiological. This video is part of my Mind is Matter mega series, so if you would like to watch those in any particular order, here is the listicle. This is the first video of my tips and tricks subsection, which is discussing how to compensate for neurodegeneration. In this video, specifically, I want to be talking about the physical aspects of this and what you can do to stem the neurodegeneration, even though you will not be able to stop it. First, you want to have an enriched environment. You want to be making new or deeper social connections, learning new skills, taking on intellectual challenges, experiencing new things, and enjoying fresh challenges to help stimulate the mind. This is a use it or lose it kind of thing. Neurodegeneration is neural atrophy, where your brain is shrinking because you are losing vital components. You want to be exercising that muscle so that you're not just letting it happen. You want to be actively combating this by encouraging your brain to make new connections and create new neurons. You'll also want to make sure you're getting an adequate amount of sleep, which for adults is about 7 to 8 hours. Now I know with CRPS this can be particularly challenging, but sleep is a huge factor on brain function. You'll also want to make sure you're getting enough sunlight for that glorious vitamin D. Exercise. Specifically aerobic exercise where you're having an increased heart rate for more than 20 minutes. This increases the amount of oxygen in the system and also increases endorphins, which will help reduce stress. Diet. You want to make sure you are ingesting healthy fats, which make up the majority of raw brain materials. Specifically, we're looking at omega-3s here. This is found in things like wild salmon, blueberries, blackberries, walnuts, spinach, avocados, dark chocolate, broccoli, beets, green tea, black tea, and mushrooms. You're also going to want to be following an anti-inflammatory diet because neuroinflammation is a major problem with CRPS, and so you do not want to be encouraging that by the food that you're eating. Psychoactive substances. While this is mostly illegal for public use at the creation of this video, I do think this is going to be changing in the future. So while I am not encouraging you to break the law, if you are in a place where this is legal, or if this becomes legal in the future and you decide that you want to try, here are some psychoactive substances that all increase neurogenesis, and most of them also increase neuroplasticity as well. Psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms, cannabis, marijuana or weed, ketamine, and ibogaine. Meditation. Over time, meditation alters the brain function by changing thought patterns. While your chemical and physiological structures affect the way that you function and your thoughts also affect your biological and chemical patterns as well. So if you can change your thoughts, you can change your physicality. Meditation increases frontal lobe activity as well as hippocampus activity. It strengthens the immune system and decreases amygdala activity, as well as reducing blood pressure, stress, anxiety, and depression. It also helps minimize the pain sensation and increases cognitive function, empathy, and compassion. So what are things you can do to increase your brain activity, help keep it working, moving? Don't be complacent in the atrophy that is occurring in your head. Intermittent fasting increases synaptic plasticity, promotes neuron growth, lowers leptin levels, signaling that the neurons need to produce more energy. If you are experiencing anorexia, which is a lack of appetite, intermittent fasting might be something that you're already doing, not because you're doing it on purpose, but just because you're not hungry. So that's something to consider. You might consider learning an instrument. This increases connectivity between brain regions and is an intense multisensory function. Now, this might be particularly frustrating if you've already got some severe neuroinflammation going on, so be gentle with yourself for this one. Expand your literary skills. This helps shift your mental states and is crucial for complex social relationships, and it stimulates the visual, auditory, and memory processing centers of the brain. Be creative. Do art. This enhances connectivity in your default mode network, which is very influential for introspection, memory, empathy, attention, focus, and motor cognitive processing. Dancing. This is more specifically a freestyle, non-memorized form of dancing, and this helps integrate several different brain functions simultaneously, including kinesthetic, rational, musical, and emotional areas of the brain. And then find a hobby or 6, something that's suited to your interests. Cross-stitch, crochet, do Sudoku, color, knit, paint, collage, scrapbook, do gaming. Write, make phone calls, journal, make a podcast, do online classes, sculpting, pottery, jewelry making, woodworking, drawing, birdwatching, hiking, gardening, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, cycling, weightlifting, swimming, golf, puzzles, cooking, makeup, sewing, crafts, photography, board games, learning a language, anything to help get you involved in life that will encourage you to make connections and stick around. And then the physical therapy of reflex, integration, and repair. Reflexes are specific automatic functions to specific stimuli that originate in the brainstem and are performed without conscious involvement. Each reflex lays the foundation for a higher motor level and cognitive skills. Reflexive movements help us learn to process sensory information and to further interact with the world around us through movement, creating neuronal connections for developing higher cortical centers of the brain. There are 4 major causes for reflex dysfunction: congenital disorders, trauma, prolonged intermittent or chronic stress, and non-congenital diseases. CRPS covers 3 of those, the last 3. CRPS used to be called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Reflexes are a major thing that CRPS affects. The goal is to repair these neural connections and retrain the dysfunctional reflex arcs through repetitive action, pairing the reflex pattern sensory response with the appropriate motor response, modeling for the body the correct relationship to a particular stimuli. There are lots of different kinds of reflexes, but specifically the primary infant motor reflexes, once they are integrated, can signal functional health of the somatic systems underlying neural, sensory, and motor response systems, inform the function of the autonomic nervous system, influencing the ability to moderate and coordinate internal alarm states and regulate emotional and behavioral responses. In addition to healthy autonomic function, it provides a developmental foundation necessary for reaching an individual's motor, communication, and cognitive potential. I personally utilize MNRI, which is the Mascotova Neurosensory Motor Reflex Integration method, but there are several different methods, and I have tried to give some good links in the source material, so I definitely recommend checking this out. This is something that once you know how to do it, you can do it on your own, at home, every day. If I had to list the 3 most important things that I personally do for myself, first would be meditation, second would be reflex integration, and I would really honestly consider them tied. And then third would be an anti-inflammatory diet. All of those things can be done on your own, at home, without anyone's permission. You do not need a doctor to allow you to do this. You do not need anyone to validate your decision to do these things. I strongly recommend all 3 of those as the first lines of defense: meditation, reflex integration, and an anti-inflammatory diet. Thank you for watching. If you like the content I'm producing here, subscribe. You're welcome to share this video or any others on my channel. If you would like to contribute to my expenses, my Patreon is listed below. As always, relevant sources will be linked in the description, and I strongly recommend checking out some different reflex integration methods and finding one that you like. I hope you learned something today, and I hope to see you next time.